Imagine a spell that spends no mana, rewrites the rules of the world, and reveals itself only to the chosen. In the New World, they call it the magic of the gods, and legends are told about those who have seen it in action even once. Yet the paradox is that for most people, the ceiling is only the 6th tier. Why is that? How does tier magic differ from wild magic, and what's really behind those mysterious magic circles? Let's break it down step by step, from origins to super tier. Tier magic is the magical craft used by players in Yggdrasil. Compared to wild magic, tier magic is more modern and widely used by most inhabitants of the New World. It's a systematic art with a clear hierarchy of tiers and an enormous library of spells. A tool for everyday life, from simple household tasks to battles and high rituals. Tier magic originated in Yggdrasil, but its power continues to exist in the New World. Although Yggdrasil as a game no longer exists, the magical craft used by players is still practiced by locals. A crucial detail: even inhabitants of this world who have mastered tier magic cannot truly master all its fields, and invariably hit a certain ceiling in their development. They reach an invisible limit and cannot advance further, very different from Yggdrasil's players, for whom such restrictions did not exist.
Spell types. In Yggdrasil, there were more than 6,000 spells. This vast body was organized into 4 categories, and each category was further split into many disciplines: defensive formulas, necromancy, elemental magic, teleportation, and more. First is arcane magic, the core body of tiered formulas prevalent out in the wilds, not to be confused with wild magic as a separate ancient system. Second is divine magic, restorative and sacred spells traditionally wielded by priests and clerics. Third is spiritual magic, an Eastern style of magic tied to talismans and spirits. Fourth is alternative magic, a catch-all for spells that don't fit the other categories. Wild magic. Wild magic is an ancient, primordial art that existed in the New World long before tier magic was introduced. It's often called soul magic. It's counted as a separate power alongside martial arts, talents, and runecraft, powers that did not exist in Yggdrasil. 600 years ago, wild magic was considered the dominant magical art in the New World. Its masters were the true Dragon Lords. According to Dredilian Auriculus's grandfather, with wild magic one can create an explosion rivaling the Platinum Dragon Lord's ultimate attack. However, wild magic began to wane when Yggdrasil's players brought a more efficient and convenient system, tier magic. Since then, the use of wild magic has sharply declined. A few practitioners still remain, mostly among Dragon Lords who survived and did not take part in the war against the 8 Greed Kings. Because the 8 Greed Kings slew most Dragon Lords roughly 5 centuries ago, only a handful today can still wield wild magic. For example, Dredilian Auriculus. Extremely rare wild magic users are actively sought out by figures like Fluder Paradigm and the Slain Theocracy.
Mechanically, wild magic differs fundamentally from tier magic. Instead of mana, it demands a price in souls to cast truly powerful spells. The more life sacrificed, the stronger the effect. The cost is terrible. Using wild magic can sever the user's connection to their own soul, so striving for stronger magic is dangerous in itself. Pure blood Dragon Lords can handle wild magic far more easily than those with only partial draconic blood. Even so, the advent of Yggdrasil's players and the spread of tier magic somehow obstructed the use of wild magic. According to the Platinum Dragon Lord, wild magic's power has been tainted and profaned, making it extremely difficult to recreate things like Claim's Ring. To access wild magic, one must either possess Dragon Lord blood or be born with a rare talent that allows a person to touch this power. But even with such a heritage, the weaker the descendant, the greater the sacrifice required. The toll can reach into the hundreds of thousands and even over 1 million souls. As a result, even heirs like Dredilian Auriculus struggle to use it properly. Tier magic in the New World. Each of the 4 categories is divided into 10 tiers, with an additional super tier at the very top. This vertical ladder is the primary way to measure a spell's power and complexity in the world. 0th tier, a step for those with no talent and underdeveloped attitude. It's mostly used by beginners learning the basics before moving on to first-tier magic. In essence, these are simple magical tricks and sleight of hand that help with everyday tasks and do not qualify one as a true spellcaster. Importantly, this tier did not exist in Yggdrasil. The 0th tier is a phenomenon unique to the New World.
First tier, levels 1 through 7. This stage includes many practical spells, from useful household effects to simple combat magic. In principle, anyone can master the first tier with enough effort, though without innate talent, the path is long and arduous. Those who reach this level can already earn money providing paid services as magical specialists for everyday and craft-related tasks. Second tier, levels 8 through 14. Here, talent begins to filter people. The ability to use this tier appears in roughly 1 in 5 to 10,000 individuals. For most ordinary casters, this is a realistic end goal. Those who reach the second tier significantly boost their income and status and can cement a professional reputation. Third tier, levels 15 through 21. A marker of serious power and mastery. People who can consistently work with third-tier spells are relatively rare and stand out both for their combat potential and their value to organizations and states. Fourth tier, levels 22 through 28. The height achieved by the most accomplished of Fluder Paradigm students, and only thanks to his guidance. In the New World, this is a very high class, accessible to elite pupils of the strongest mentors and built on years of systematic training.
Fifth tier, levels 29 to 35. The benchmark reached by the 13 heroes, those whom past eras regarded as the pinnacle of human potential. This tier spills from outstanding professional status into the semi-legendary and is directly tied to great deeds capable of changing the fate of nations. Sixth tier, levels 36 to 42. The highest known tier of magic that humans in the New World can attain. Only a handful have reached it. The sole confirmed human master of this tier is Fluder Paradigm. For everyone else, it's the limit of their dreams and the upper bound of human magical evolution. Seventh tier, levels 43 to 49. A tier spoken of in legends. In theory, humans can attempt 7th tier spells via large-scale magical rites, but it's incredibly dangerous and often ends in catastrophe. The only known beings in the New World capable of using spells at this level are the Dominion of Authority and certain Night Liches. 8th tier, level 50 to 56. This tier is known only within the mythical kingdom and among Night Liches. For the rest of the world, it remains a realm of speculation and rare mentions rather than practice. 9th tier, levels 57 to 63. It's believed that Cunyavela may have been able to use a single spell of this tier. Even such a cautious claim shows how rare real examples of the 9th tier are, and how few confirmations exist in the sources. 10th tier, level 64 to 70. The very existence of this tier is mentioned in the Nameless Book of Spells, a rare source known only to a few, such as Evil Eye. For most inhabitants of the New World, the 10th tier isn't just a peak, but a boundary of knowledge preserved in myths and forgotten manuscripts.
11th tier, levels 71 to 100. This term was coined by the cardinals of the Slain theocracy and is not an official part of the classic scale. In essence, the 11th tier is an unofficial label for super tier magic, also known as the magic of the gods. In Yggdrasil, it was called super tier. In the New World, people dubbed it the 11th tier, emphasizing its position above all other forms of magic. Chronicles note that players used it roughly 500 to 200 years ago. By nature, these are not ordinary spells, but special abilities that unlock for the caster without expending mana. The rules of super tier are strict. The number of learnable formulas is limited. You can learn only one super tier spell for every 10 levels after level 70. This power can be used only once per day. You gain an additional use for each subsequent 10 levels. Thus, a level 100 player can cast super tier spells 4 to 5 times per day. With power comes vulnerability. Super tier has a casting period, and if enough damage is dealt during that time, the cast is interrupted and the magic fails.
This cost makes Super Tier both an object of awe and a matter of strategic caution. The Slain Theocracy is aware of these higher levels of magic and calls them the 11th tier, the magic of the gods, embedding in language and culture the notion of a power that surpasses the rest of the scale. If you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe.